Let me start by offering prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. The meaning of the prayer which I just offered is, I was born in the darkest ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. So it's always I'm talking, it seems to be so monotonous. So today I thought, like, let's go with a conversation. So I will volunteer myself to be Ram. Anyone here volunteer to be Sam? I will show the conversation what we gonna discuss, but it would be nice if if everyone turns on the video. I would love it. It's like seeing my face and talking, it's so weird. But if anyone comes up and volunteer yourself, whatever is shown, wherever Sam comes in, you wanna read out the dialogue. Anybody?
Yeah, I can do, Shama. Padma here.
Sure. Thank you, Batma. I want to change Sam to Batma everywhere, but let's go with whatever they did. Um, okay. So usually this is the conversation between two folks. So whenever someone come across me or any Vaishnava having the beads, this is the beads, the Tulsi beads on the neck, or seeing the Bhagavad Gita. So the conversation will start from there, and we will have a very good discussion, and it will end up in very good questions, also to think and make others to think. Let's see here how the conversation between Shyama and Batma goes. So here I am. So I'm introducing to you. Hey, I'm Ramar. I'm Shyama. So here you go, Batma.
Hey, are you a Krishna believer?
Yes, my faith has become the focal point of my life. So the pattern how we go is we are seeing the discussion between two person, and wherever I need to add points, I will stop in the slide and will go take a deep dive there. So here this person is telling my faith has become the focal point of my life. So we were discussing about a world view last time. So how we think, it matters a lot. How does that matter? There comes the worldview. Who is the doer? How we will look at the people and how we will look at others. That matters a lot, really, trust me. So it's like often in our schools or college, they used to say like if a glass of water is half filled, half people will say it is half filled, half will say half is empty. So, and also this worldview where last session Chintan explained very broadly how does that worldview, what is that, etc. So the Gita first give us a guidance, Bhagavad Gita. We have to somehow see what is our worldview is. We need to align with God or with Bhagavad Gita, which is God's words. It's Gita is a poem. Bhagavad Gita means it's a song sung by the God. So let's see. Batman?
Hey, okay. I'm also used to believe in God when I was kid, and I used to go to temples, but now I really don't believe in God anymore.
So did you come across any of this sort of conversation anywhere? I used to come across like this a lot of time. People used to say like, once upon a time, yep, I was a strong believer, but not now. If we ask for reason, they will say like, do God really exist? I don't think so. So I will tell a small story. Every one of us know this story. I just wanna say here in this relate to how and what we are discussing of how our view matters. So once there was a drought in the village, in order to make gods happy and bring rain to the village and farms, the farmers decided to have a ritual, a puja. So they will get rain. So they did the puja, everything. And the next day is a follow-up ceremony. So everyone gathered near the ritual place, all in the sense, all the villages. Only one young boy came, sat with a umbrella. And everybody started looking so weird. It is so sunny, and this guy is sitting with an umbrella. And this guy was perplexed to see like no one has umbrella. Even the ones who suggested for this puja, right? The head of the village didn't bring any umbrella. So he went to the village leader and he asked, if everyone is confident that this ritual will work out, then why no one has brought an umbrella? What you guys will do if it rains? So the village head was taken aback and he replied, most people wish good things to happen, but none of them really believe in what they are doing and don't hope that whatever we are doing will give a positive outcome. Yes, I have belief, but still I suffered. So I'm not believing in God. And some will say like, yes, I believe, but I didn't get anything good out of it. So how does that matter? How is our belief differ? Let's see, I want to show you a video here. I will put a pause, 1 minute.
The Brahman and the Cobbler. Shri Narad Muni was traveling to different places.
Right, it is because of one's
So,
own karma.
yeah, but here also some argues, okay, now I'm surrendering to God. Still I'm suffering. I'm praying to God, but still I'm suffering. So each one of us is struck with our own point, isn't it?
Right.
There's like many nowadays, like if God exists, why this corona? It's taking a long time. Nobody wants to say that because of my karma, I'm suffering. Okay, few agree that, yeah, it's my karma, but still I'm praying, I'm doing everything. Nothing works. This is a famous verse from Bhagavad Gita. Bhoktaram yajna tapasam sarvalokamashwaram Sukhrutam sarva bhutanam nyatva mam santim rachati. You can read the translation. A person in full consciousness of me, knowing me to be the ultimate beneficiary of all sacrifices and austerities, the supreme lord of all planets and demigod, and the benefactor and well-wisher of all living entities, attains peace from the pangs of material miseries. So what does that mean? And
So
also we will have
in between the sufferings that we face also, like we should be able to attain peacefulness in life. Like if we follow the sattvic activities and if we try to be more sattvic. Because like once we elevate our consciousness from the material conscious to spiritual consciousness. The difficulties and the hardships that we face in life will never come into our mind, because like we are already
Perfect.
elevated from the material consciousness to spiritual consciousness. We should still be able to attain peace in life.
Exactly. Perfect. Perfect. Padma, you covered the 1 hour session in your comments. So mostly people think that why does bad things happen to good people, or why am I suffering? The answer which Batma mentioned, I'll take a little more detail. So if some things happen or some situation happen, and if we are comfortable with that, we are saying it's good. If whatever happening, it's not comfortable or we are not agree to that, then we are saying it's bad. So if you take and if you see the Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, God is not our enemy. He cares for us. He is our ever well-wisher. Do you think that our well-wisher, whomever you have in your life, you might have like one best friend where you can share anything, or you will have some well-wisher, your staff, your teacher, you might share things, ask for guidance. Do you think they will think any bad for us? No. If in this material world itself, someone who cares for us and who is our well-wisher won't think anything bad, then how come our spiritual father will think something bad? It's all our attitude and outlook towards things which we have. If we simply accept the mercy of God, that God is our eternal master, eternal friend, and I am his part and parcel, my duty is to serve him, then if something happens which is in our favorable things, I will take that as God gifted me. I will appreciate, I will remember. And if something unfavorable happens, I will tolerate and I will remember. I can't see what is behind that bad thing, but we can take it as it's God's plan. It's one of the famous verse in Bhagavatam. It was told by Brahmaji. Tattenu kampam susamikshmano bhunjana evatmakritam vipakam kritvagvapubir vidada namaste jiveto yo mukti padasadayavak. So the English meaning goes like this. My dear Lord, one who earnestly waits for you to bestow your causeless mercy upon him, all the while patiently suffering the reaction of his past misdeeds, and offering you respectful obeisances with his heart, words, and body, is surely eligible for liberation, for it has become his rightful claim. As Batma said, whatever sufferings we are undergoing, if we see it from the spiritual point of view and tolerate that, we have the right to claim. Where is it? It's mine. Because we are tolerating with our hearts, words, and body. I can give one best example for it from our scriptures, and every one of us know this Mahabharata and Kunti Maharani. You know that what and all the sufferings the Pandavas and Kunti undergone, but still she offered her prayers to Bhagavan that even if those sufferings comes back again and again, I'm fine, but I want you to be before me. When Krishna was about to leave to Dwaraka. So in Bhagavad Gita, in the first chapter, it is described as there are 6 kind of aggressors. If anyone does any one of these 6 activities, they can be punished, even they can be killed, whoever it is. They are like the 6 items. I will say each one you can relate with the Mahabharata story. The first one is someone gives poison. You can think of Kauravas giving poison to Bhima. Next, they tried to kill the Pandavas in the Lakshagraha, that is wax palace, burning them alive. Then one who attacks with a deadly weapon. Then who plunder riches, Indraprastha, they plundered it and they send the Pandavas to 13-year exile, and followed by that they send Durvasa Muni to curse them. And 13th year, which the Ajnana was, Duryodhana was trying very hard to find their identity so they can send them back to the exile for 13 years. The story will goes like this. After the gambling match, it is that you lost, so you have to go to exile for 13 years. 12 years in the forest, 13th year, the one whole year, you should hide your identity. If someone identify you, then you should go back. The plan for Duryodhana is they want to send Pandava again and again by finding them. I'm sorry, I'm muting with some disturbances I'm hearing. Okay, so next is one who occupies another land. They occupied Indraprastha. One who kidnaps a wife. It's during gambling. We will very well know that how much humiliation Draupadi went through. But still, they had the faith in God that God will help. They didn't say that, no, Krishna didn't help me, I won't believe him. If we look into the issues and sufferings which Pandavas undergone, we are not having that. We are thinking that God is giving all the suffering, and that's where we are saying, I don't believe in him. God is giving each an opportunity, each one of us, but we are not making use of it. We are not believing or trusting God to understand God is giving us an opportunity. I would like to show you a video. Just passing for a minute. I hope that is not boring. We know this fact, but I just wanna. Yes, Roshni, you raised your hand.
Yeah. Did you
God
want
will
me
come
to
in some
answer?
form. He doesn't appear directly, but he will come through man. I mean, through humans. So at correct point in time, we should be able to recognize them, and then like we have to follow whatever is being instructed for us to do.
So how we can identify that it is, yes, it is God who is talking to me, or Maya, it's cheating me. I can read out a comment. We need to have faith and firm hope on God. So we need to know, right? Yes, this is God who is speaking to me or doing it to me, or it is someone who's trapping me in Maya. How do we know that? That's where we discussed during our earlier session. We should read the scriptures, and we should rely on Sadhu, Shastra, and our Guru. So if we read Bhagavad Gita, if we know more about God, we know, say for example,
Shama, your voice is breaking actually. Is anyone able to hear her? I'm not able to hear her.
I think her video phone.
I'm sorry, I got disconnected. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, now we are able to hear you, Shama. Yes. Thank you.
Once. Okay, so that's why we need to rely on God's word. We should know first. I was telling about Roshni. I'm sorry, Roshni, don't mind. I'm just saying, like, how will you trust a person? If we are not knowing about that person, how can we trust? To have the
We know
trust,
Krishna, we should
we
have
should
the full
know.
complete consciousness of what people are trying to do. We will get that
Exactly.
consciousness.
If we simply say that, it would become a blind faith, right? I don't know anything about God. I don't know anything. My mom is telling me, believe, so I am believing. It would be a blind faith, or like I'm so blind in whatever the ritual I'm doing, or whatever my parents or whatever the elders are saying. To know, to have that faith from inside, I should know the person more. I should know what are his characteristic, what he is trying to do. How do I know that I can trust him? How do I know he is my well-wisher, he is my friend? If we read through the messages he is giving us from Bhagavad Gita, if we know about him from reading his pastimes, then we will know about that person. Then we can develop that firm faith. Yes, Pooja is saying need to take a leap of faith. Everything develops if we know about that person, if we read about that person. So it's Ram, I'm saying. Actually, it makes a lot of sense to me. Just because some people prosper and others suffers doesn't negate the existence of God. Suffering is sometimes a means to a better end, and God uses it to draw people closer to him, or to give others who are most fortunate a chance to serve those in needs. Let me ask you, if you don't believe in God, then how do you explain things like the existence of universe? So in this also I want to say, like, many believe in God, but that they will say like that doesn't takes anywhere. Seeing all hardships, no God. God is not at all there. Why are we getting this suffering? Why God allow all these crabs? We saw that earlier. So what sufferings bring close to God? So God is purposefully doing, isn't it? If we read this, it's like, so God is giving, so I will go to him. How can I take this statement? Here, one small story again. It's like, there was a barber in a village, the salon, haircutting. So one person went to the barber and he trimmed his hair nicely, and he was like appreciated the barber. Yeah, you are doing it great, great, great. Then he roamed around the village. He saw many people having this much like funky hairs, long hairs for men, and it's like so many are having so many hair they didn't trim. Even the hair is covering their face like that. This guy was like, oh, so many people are having this much hair. He went back to the barber or the salon and he started shouting, you are not at all there. If you are there, there won't be so many people with this much hair. They won't exist. I just went out the village. I was surprised to see so many are having so much bulky hair. What you are doing? So I don't believe you are not at all there. The barber smiled and said, they are not coming to me. You came to me, I trimmed and make you nice looking, beautiful or handsome. But those who saw you there outside the village, they never came to me. So God is there. We are not going to them like this barber. We are just seeing one side and saying like, how could it be? But have we ever gone to him? And if you are not going and if you are complaining that no, he is not at all there. If he is not there, how can sun is rising so precisely? The women are delivering at the 9th month or 10th month. They are not delivering at first month or second month or 15th, 20th month. It is well planned. Sun set at the exact time. The babies, their tooth falls on the exact time. The baby tooth fall and the permanent one comes. And rainy season is coming. No one is able to stop that. If we plant a seed this much size, we can see a huge tree out of it. So there are so many things we can explain out of it. And here you go, Batma. It's your turn now.
Okay. So I believe the Big Bang Theory, but really it doesn't matter much. What matters is here and now. Maybe there is God out there, but he's not really a part of my life. I have to take control of my life and steer it to the right place. Things are going very well for me. I've just been promoted as project manager in my company and I'm getting my family life together.
So how can you explain this without God? So couple of questions. It's sort of a quiz, maybe a puzzle for everyone here. 2 questions that puzzled humanity over billion of years, even today. The question still exists. 2, specifically 2 in particular. Anyone can guess, but no one can able to answer that. Anyone can guess what is that 2 question?
From which standpoint, Shama? The questions.
The question, whatever perspective we can say, but that 2 question, no one can able to figure out the answer so far. You can take that as material or spiritual, whatever it is. Yes, Roshini? You can unmute yourself, Roshini. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to take a guess. I think one question that may have puzzled humanity is why do bad things happen to good people?
Okay.
It's just a guess.
It's a good guess. Anyone else wanna give it a try?
I think it's the $1 million question that we had in the first lecture, the 5-part
Oh,
lecture.
you are leaking out the answer.
No, I'm just guessing. That should be the.
Okay, good guess. And Ram Gopal saying, why bad things happen to good people if God exists? Okay. So I will unpuzzle it. It is the origin of universe. Where did this universe come from? Everybody have different theories, right? It's Big Bang theory or other theories. And the second one, origin of life. Where did life come from? Scientists are researching, they can able to make a clone, but they are unable to bring out a new life altogether. They don't know from where life comes from, what is the origin of life and what is the origin of universe. Belief of God is there, but as age progressed, people started saying these atheistic words, and it grows. And here we are, like, we ask maybe 6th standard or 7th standard kids, they will very well know about this Big Bang theory. They studied in school. Everything created from a blast. If you see, everything is created from a blast. If we take this nuclear bomb, the famous one is, again, we might have studied in our history, the Hiroshima Nagasaki blast. It's total destruction, right? It's totally destroyed. Nothing created out of it, isn't it? If a blast can create a whole universe with everything, then we are having so many atom nuclear bombs, so many costly bombs. We could have come up with multiple new universes. We couldn't. And again, we have a lot of theories. Darwin theory of survival, origin of species, and life comes out of amoeba, one cell. From one cell, everything came. That cell mutilated and become multiple, but no proof to that theory so far. So this point made by Sam here in our slide, a Big Bang theory, it doesn't exist. We are reading that in our school and we are believing that, okay, that is what, but in reality, that is not the case. So as this guy mentioned, to start a family, so this Ram is asking, are you married? Next.
I just got divorced 8 months ago after 5 years together. We have one daughter.
So it is not a standard question for everybody, but this guy is saying as a family, it's like people used to go like, what happened bad or something in his family. So what is it? So you don't believe in God. do you believe that there is a moral right and wrong or anything goes? So here you go, Batma.
Of course, there is a moral right and wrong. You don't need God to know that there have to be limits. I live a good moral life and I teach those values to my daughter.
So this guy is saying to know the morality, which is right, which is wrong. I suppose not to have to know about God. I know that. I know what is good, what is bad. So why I need to believe in God? So here goes. But if there is no God, then what the basis of right and wrong in your belief system? Isn't it? This guy is like, I know it very well, but how do you know this is right, this is wrong? So over a period of time, we are putting together a catalog of this piece are good, this is bad, this side is bad, this is good. How come? From TV shows, movies, how it is handled. And over a period of watching those things, we'll say, okay, if we do this, this is good. If my goal is this, I can cheat. That is in our catalog, believe me. In lot of movies are like the hero will bankrupt or he will rob from banks and he will cheat, and in turn if you go and see, he will be feeding so many orphanage, old age. And in some movies it will be like he is the first son or first kid in the family and their family will be suffering, so this guy will be doing all theft, robberies. And in some other movie it's shown like that was a famous hit one, they will take money from the rich and spend the money to the poor, the slum areas, like that. So many Bollywood movies are like that. I'm from South India, so many South Indian movies showing this concept. If you want to achieve your goal, you can do anything you want. And also, like, if you have a goal, like you want to become a project manager, you can cheat, you can do anything you want to go there. You can even take the credit of others' work and do things, take the shortcut. Is that good? Because everyone is showing that's the world view. We discussed about worldview last week. That is the worldview, that you can do anything and everything you want to achieve your goal. And in our catalog also, it is showing that that is good. So how are you coming up with this list? Wow, it's a lot to read for you, Vatma.
You just know what is right and wrong. I mean, you can feel it, right? You know from experience what works and what doesn't, and you are kind of building a mental catalog of do's and don'ts based on those experiences. And you see it played out in movies and on TV where they pretty much contrast the different ways you can deal with the situations and show the different outcomes of each approach. The world is filled with examples of right and wrong, and if you are sensitive to it, you can easily tell what's good and what's bad.
So as I said, we are seeing the social media and the TV shows and movies and making out a catalog for ourselves to show this is good and this is bad. So do you think, would it be right to follow whatever is shown in the medias, or prepare what is good and what is bad catalog out of it? And we watch the movies and we are preparing the catalog and we are passing that catalog to the next generation. Here, our beta, this is the catalog, this is the good things you need to follow. This I have spent my whole lifetime to prepare this catalog, so you can use it. So anyone agreeing with me to have this catalog from movies or you have any other feedback to debate against Sam?
I myself don't agree, Shama. Actually, I'm the opposite kind of person, but the role I'm playing is completely different here in this contest.
That's good. That's good. So
Whatever
why
we
you
see,
won't
or
agree? Where
whatever
is the
we
catalog
feel,
coming from?
no, to me, right, whatever we see or whatever we feel, that may not be accurate, because it is up to the certain, it is like whatever like we are doing in this universe, like it is of material consciousness, right? So how do we say that we will always be correct all the time? That is not still. But if we practice the sattvic activities, and like if we associate our life with the spiritual things, right? So our consciousness will be uplifted, and we should be able to understand on what basis, or like on what expectation the world, the universe has been created from the Brahman, like the universal soul. That is like the
So
one who has
where is that catalog? You are saying Sattvic detail. Where is that catalog? Where can I find it?
We need to practice the sattvic activities at home, or at like temples. Like we need to involve ourselves more in the spiritual things. Like in
So
whatever.
how do you know that these are Sattvic activities?
How do we know? That is a tricky question. How do I answer?
No, somebody should have told you, right? This list is Sattvic activities. So you started believing it. Who gave that catalog?
Whatever we practice in life, if that does not harm others, that does not bring destruction to the surrounding, and that gives the spiritual benefits to us and like to our soul, that is the ideal goal of the soul. So that we call it as like sattvic activity, and like more like we have to involve in the spiritual activities. That is what I mean. So when
No,
we
I
like
understood it, but my question, I'm sorry to throw you under the bus here. And someone answered like scriptures. Exactly. That's the one word I'm looking for. So if we say that I need to follow this, again, the question will come that how do you know that? From where we are getting from? How do you know that you are doing that brings good to others? How can you substantiate or judge that this is good? Because it is given in my scripture. As it is given in my scripture here, I can believe, yes. And can I get all the Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam? No. We want to get it from the authorized commentators, which comes in the disciplic succession from Krishna to Brahma to Narada, from where it comes to us. And they have given us, if you know, Vyasadeva, before the Kali Yuga appears, he predicted how the human being will be, and they can't remember anything, their memory is too short. So earlier, if you see, this Gurukula things will be there. If we saw in the old movies, a guru will be there and kids will be sent there for Gurukula, and they will stay with the guru, they will serve the guru will recite a mantra, and the kids will repeat back, and through the oral reception they remembered. But now if I just say like 3 or 4 lines together and ask another one to repeat, they can't do it because of the Kali Yuga's effect or impact. People are having short memory, they can't remember. Vyasadeva predicted that. That's why he wrote the Vedas and given to us the scriptures. We need to refer back. Those from there we can take the way of life, as Batma said, the Sattvic way of life, what is causing good to others. Those details we can take from there. Here there is a book written by one of the prisoner from this Jews, the Nazis, during that World War II. He was suffered a lot in the prison, and he didn't thought that he will come out of life, but he was successfully alive, and then he wrote a book out of his diary. In that book, his name is Viktor Frankl. He wrote a book in 1946. In that, he had mentioned that there is a purpose of life. It doesn't like I have the birth and I will enjoy to the core and I can die. Each and every one's life has a purpose, and that is a very famous book. Let's move ahead. So in other words, you are saying that everyone has to make up his own mind about what is morally right or wrong. And here you go, Sam, Batma.
Definitely, if we all do what we believe is right, then it all works out because we are all doing the best we can. Nobody is perfect, but if we try our hardest and respect each other, in world, life is just controlled chaos.
So he himself is agreeing nobody is perfect. If nobody is perfect, how can we take that imperfect person's words are doing into concentrating our attention and think that that is good and right? So it's Ram giving an answer. Suppose you say it's okay to kill your ex-wife because she cheated you and broke the marriage. I come along and say, no, killing your wife is not moral. Am I supposed to respect your choice to kill her because she did something you did not like? What if I then say, sorry, but it's your final choice. It conflicts with mine because I have my moral catalog and this guy is having his moral catalog. According to my book, it is saying, oh, this guy is conflicting, so I need to kill him because he is going to kill an innocent woman. So am I right to do it? So may I kill you to save your ex-wife? Or how about it? So that makes Sam confused. Oh, no, don't kill me. Here you go, Sam.
You just have to deal with the situation. No, you should not kill me, and I probably shouldn't kill my ex-wife.
So this catalog, what we are having for individual, this is not an authorized or recommended one. It is from, like, we are making on our own. If it conflicts with other, then everyone can take their own weapon and start to be their own gods. So Ram saying, I guess what we are really addressing has to do with truth. Don't you think it? The truth, it's common for all. It's not Shyama's truth or Batma's truth or Ram's truth or Sam's truth. It is common, whoever it is. Is there a source of moral truth? When you were growing up in your temple, you probably heard that Bhagavad Gita is the source of moral truth. Does the Gita fit into your thinking at all? Here you go, Sam.
Yes, I believe the Gita is a good book. It has some good stuff in there, but I have a tough time believing everything the Gita tells. I feel a lot of it is mythology, not real. That said, Gita surely has some helpful lessons.
So everyone thinks that no, the Gita is not for us to study now. Only old elders, my granny or grandpa can read. After retirement, I can read. Why should I spend my time now? And few will say that, say, come on, buddy. We haven't taught to think like this. You are all of a sudden coming and saying, did you read Bhagavad Gita? In my school, all through my life, my parents, my teachers, my elders at my home, everybody told to study good, make money, get a good job, family, kid, money, study good, study, job. This is what I have been taught so far. Now, all of a sudden, why are you asking to think about God? Why are you asking me to read Bhagavad Gita? Let's see if I became old. No one never taught me to read Bhagavad Gita. Is it a valid point? Anyone is agreeing with Sam? Is it a valid point he is saying?
No, it is not.
How do you say that? My parents didn't told me that you should read Bhagavad
Yeah.
Gita when you were 20s.
Yeah, I
That
agree.
is-
It's a valid point. Seriously.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
To be frank, until 2 years back, I don't even know what Bhagavad Gita tells. I'm well
Exactly.
past 30. Yeah.
So
But I
nobody
have a
taught
question.
us.
But I have a
Yeah,
question. ISKCON has been from long time, and like there are many people who believe in Bhagavad Gita because it tells the how to live. But why like we're not forcing it to be in schools, like at least part of it. But like nobody talks about when we are young, right? Like everybody should know Bhagavad Gita right from young age. So
exactly.
at least like we should put our younger generation towards it. Like they should know at least little basis of it rather than knowing them when they're 35, 40. And I won't believe in knowing Bhagavad Gita when you're 60, when your life is almost ending. That's no point.
Exactly. This was one common question. Like I asked this question when someone gave me Bhagavad Gita. I asked this question like, oh my God, I have passed so many years without knowing this. Why nobody taught me? Why my parents didn't taught me? And as we saw in that first video, we will get an opportunity by the Shukruti. We will meet with the devotees when there is a right opportunity for us to think about what is the purpose of life, how to self-realize, how to realize God. Who is God? Who am I? Am I this body or am I soul? What is that? What is that? Like I'm daily waking up, and nowadays it is so routine life in this corona pandemic. I'm waking up, doing my all necessities, bathing, brushing, cooking, walking, washing those things, vessels clean up, going to bed. Saga continues. Am I only born just like this, as we discussed in your previous session? Is it eating, mating, sleeping, defending? Is that what? What is the difference between animals and me? So when we get an opportunity to meet with the devotees and someone gives you that knowledge or someone poke you to get this question, what is your purpose of life? We should definitely use it. Again, Krishna, if you see in Bhagavad Gita, he told all the entire Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. At the last 18 chapter, he will say, he won't force, he will say, I have given whatever knowledge needed for you. Take it. It's up to you. What you want to do, what you think to do it. So we are given with an opportunity at the right time, but are we using it? Few will use it. They will grab the opportunity, get the book, they will read it. Few will think this person don't have anything to do. They don't have any work, or maybe somebody is giving money for them to do this. So let me do my own work. I want more money. I want to build a house in my native. I want to buy a home here where in US I'm living. My status should meet with someone. Like that only we are thinking. Many will go in the same highway, and few lucky people use that Sukruti from the devotees, and they will take a diversion. As we discussed, diversion is not mean like you will go materially down, you don't want to work, you don't want to take care of your necessities. Of course, do it. You are doing everything in this for this material life, but do something for the spiritual life also. We are spending around 12-13 hours to become good and rich, and our status quo, everything for material. At least try to spend an hour or half an hour for our spiritual life, for the soul, so we can come out of this birth life life cycle. So when an opportunity is given to you to realize yourself, make use of it. Like I used to question my parent when I was a kid. I remember my friend was a Christian. They used to go to the temple every Sunday. if you see that, you should be a member of the nearby church, and they will go every Sunday for the prayers. And Muslims, they used to go for namaz, but Hindus, they won't go anywhere. It's like, I used to ask my mom, she is going on Sunday and my friend is going every Friday, and why are you not taking me any day? So my mom used to say, Sanatana Dharma is like, it will grow by itself. You don't want to force and grow it. Then also, like, if you are not forcing, then nobody will go. As Prateep, and if I'm not wrong, is it right? I'm sorry if I
Yeah, Pradeep.
mispronounce. Yeah, Prateep.
Yeah.
You asked me, like, why is it not in the schools? Then later I come across many schools now. They are teaching Sanskrit, they are teaching our Vedas, we have the lessons. And I can say now we know about this, we can use the opportunity to teach our kids. I'm teaching my son. Like sometimes he will ask like, why this, why that? Sometimes I won't be knowing the answer because I started late. But I will try to ask the question to my guru and get it clarified. And I'm trying to pass on the culture to the next generation. Maybe you all can try to pass that message from this is what the purpose of life to your next generation. Then to our third generation, they will get it from the right time. Let's move on to the slide. Ram is saying, if the Gita does not provide moral guidance and it is not accurate and reliable, then how do you figure out the meaning and purpose of life? What's life about you? Why even bother getting out of the bed in the morning? Right? As I said, if our parents got a good home and they are well to do, they have all the money and necessities, why I need to get up from the bed? Even like if my husband is earning good, I don't want to do anything. I can keep a servant maid and she can do all the house homework, and I can just lie down and enjoy my life. Here you go, Sam.
Life is about doing what makes you happy and achieving whatever you want to do. When you die, it is all over. So you have to make the best of this life and maximize enjoyment.
So again, this point, many believes that as soon as I die, I'm done with this. But we discussed earlier, that is not the end. When you die, it doesn't over there. That sounds like you don't believe in the life after death. That's what Ram is saying here. So reincarnation, we discussed about this last week. Life is not ending there. When you die, we won't be able to come out of the life cycle of birth and death if we are not using this opportunity. There is life after death. We discussed extensively in the reincarnation session, but just giving a gist. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, in whatever condition our
We
mind
die.
at the time of death. Yep. He says
Yep.
that in 8th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, we will achieve that. If we think about our beloved dog, I'm going to miss, definitely he will take birth as a dog. And also it says that at the second of death, one automatically will think or those things which he or she is very much attached to. It is impossible for the mind to think of other things, or we cannot control our mind. It just happen automatically. It is very painful and emergency situation. I can say, like, I used to think, forget about death. If you are just sleeping in the floor, whom are you calling out? At that time, are you able to think about God? It's just you are trying to fall down here, or somebody is trying to hit, or you are passing out. At that time, while you pass out, are you able to remember anything? At that moment itself, I cannot able to think of God. How can we think about during the time of death, which I don't have any experience at all? This body, I don't have experience, but my soul might have that experience, but I don't know. Related to this topic, we discussed about Bharat Maharaj's story, where at the time of death, he was thinking about a deer and he gave birth in the next Janma as a deer, and he remembered, by Krishna's mercy, he remembered how he became a deer. So it also depends from which gate of the body the souls goes out, we will get the body. If we cultivate low chakras, then our soul will go out from low gates. It's sort of a dhyana yoga, how the soul goes out. That is also explained in Bhagavad Gita chapter 8. So Krishna is giving all the details about how the life you need to live in this life and how you need to live. What is that life after death? I can post that last reincarnation video for the one who haven't attended that session, maybe in the WhatsApp group, or send an email. You can just go over it. It was like 1.5 hour detailed session. So in Chris, life is the preparation for our final exam, that is death. So one should prepare ourselves for that. So Sam is confused now. But
yeah, I believe in heaven, but I'm not sure. We really cannot know what will happen after death. What about you? Do you believe in God?
So here Ram is giving an answer like, I look things differently from you. I believe God exists and has always existed and is in total control of all creation. The Gita is the text that helps me understand things better. It's like everything the Gita says seems to add up for me and to have proven itself in my own life and experience. If you have reading Bhagavad Gita, you might know very well, like Gita is speaking to you, it is giving you whatever answers you are looking for. We may think that it happened 5,000 years ago and Arjuna is a warrior. I am a grahastha. I am a family girl or family boy, family man, family lady. How that will suit me? That guy is standing there to fight. I'm just cooking. I'm just working as an IT professional. I'm just a Java code. I'm just a Java code writer. How do things fit for me? Trust me, it will fit for you. Gita tells life is a gift from God. The real bottom line to life is to have a meaningful relationship with God, to serve the God, and through God serve everybody. It comes together if we follow His moral guidelines. It really unravels pretty quickly and profoundly if we don't. He gives us the freedom to choose to know and serve Him or pursue different paths, and that would cause a lot of hardship which we undergo. While trying to follow the Gita, I fall short many times, more often. But God seems to understand our weakness and encourages us to keep trying. He's our real father. If you think, if you are teaching your kid 2 + 2 = 4, and he is telling 2 + 2 is 3, you won't give up, right? You will give a chance. Okay, I will teach him slowly. Maybe I would have taught louder. Maybe I would have screamed. I will teach a little patiently. He will understand again. So we will try again and again, give an opportunity to our kids. Similarly, God will give us the opportunity and encourage us to keep trying, to keep improving. That's the relationship part. That's the guidance or encouragement and understanding God has on us. That is in the true relationship, right? Honesty, joy, disappointment, love, everything is in the true relationship. So I don't have it all worked out so far. I am also reading. Maybe I would have went into the train couple of stops before you or after you. So everybody is in the train journey. But Gita really helps us to get closer to the truth. and Krishna intervenes when he needs to spare us, to redirect us if we are going in a wrong way. So that's our decision. Like, Krishna has the best for us I have ever made. So he will show us the guidance through his words from Bhagavad Gita. There is one clip I want to show here. I will send this in the group. So this picture, one picture shows, if you are really, really angry, go and read this chapter 2, text 56 or 62 or 63. You can feel that Krishna is talking to you. This is a small list put together to get help from Bhagavad Gita. So if you are in any one of these emotions, you can try to take the book if you have the book. If not, please let me know in the WhatsApp group. I will try to send you a book of Bhagavad Gita, or you can find it in vedabase.io in online. So try to take one time, give it a try, whether you can feel that God is speaking to you through the Bhagavad Gita. You can really feel it. So we have come to the end of the session. So what I want to show here is, or the point over here, what we are stressing, what you think definitely matters a lot. How we think, that matters a lot. So come out of the worldview, or come out of the catalog which we are getting from our friends or relatives. Try to follow sadhu, shastra, or guru, so you can find the truth behind it. Just as the boy who got the umbrella, having the trust that I am going to pray for God and definitely rain will come. We don't want to be like that priest who was waiting, no, God will come, God will come. Don't expect God will come in his forehand with the Shangu, Chakra, Gada. Try to make use of the opportunity. So anyone has any question we can discuss? At least now, if you can come in the video chat, I can able to see who I was speaking so far for about an hour. Thank you, Pradeep.
Yeah.
Any questions we can discuss? I can stay, or you can post it in the chat.
So in one of the slide, I think you mentioned about everyone has a purpose of life, right? So how can we know our purpose of life? Like,
so this is what we answered, like, what is the purpose of human life itself in general? To self-realize.
okay.
We are the part and parcel of God. So we are the eternal part and parcel. We are our eternal servant. Serve God. Try to self-realize yourself. Search about God. And then you will come to know, like, what is that real purpose? How am I differing from the animal? So the two things, like 4 things common between the human and animal are eating. Both of us eat. Like,
Yeah.
we are eating in a dining table. They might be eating somewhere outside. Both of us defend if some enemy attacks happen. Both animal and human mate, and they both will sleep.
Yeah.
So how are we differing from the animal point of life? Is we need to use our intelligence to figure out our purpose of life. That is through realizing ourselves, realizing God. I cannot realize my own, because so far I have heard and came across taught it's that enjoy the life to the core. So realize God, then you will realize yourself.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. And Pooja is asking a question. If there is no apparent good and bad, do we only rely on scripture to know the difference? as I said, we need to rely on the truth that is from Vedas, Sadhu, Shastra, and Guru. We can ask whoever practicing the Shastra, as Bhatma said, like following the Sattvic way of life, who are practicing that can able to tell you or guide you what it is.
Oh, actually, to add this point, right? So what I would say is like God has certainly defined a way for us to live a life. So he always says, when you are able to control everything and live in within the limits that I have defined for each and everything, I'm saying. So for all the things that we face in life, whatever may be the problems, the happiness, like if we are not able to forgive anybody for their mistakes, so for all the aspects in life, if we are able to limit ourselves within the limit that Krishna has defined, so then that means like we are living a successful life. And there is nothing, I mean, there is nothing more like we can learn or like we can know outside him. Everything is he himself.
If you just read the one book, 700 verse of Bhagavad Gita, there itself you know what is the demonic character, what is the sattvic character, what is the passionate character. By reading it, you will assess yourself. Okay, am I like this? Am I having this? Am I envious? Envious falls in which category? So you can assess yourself and you can try to improve yourself. And one more question, Priyanka asked, can you say something on how to deal with fear? Fear on what, Priyanka? Fear on how to live, fear on death. Is she there? Yeah. Priyanka? Okay. In general, I'll try to give an answer. It's an example. I'm taking it from Srila Prabhupada, who is the founder Acharya of ISKCON. So it was Second World War time. At the time, they were planning to put bombs. So there was so much fear everywhere. So at the time, Srila Prabhupada was making some jalebis, frying. I can say it's sort of some sweets. He is frying some sweets. So outside, his neighbors came and asked, like, why are you making this? I am so scared. We don't know whether we should hide in home or we should go and hide in some underground. What if they put the bomb here? We will die. And how can you casually doing this, frying the sweets for what? I couldn't understand. And Srila Prabhupada answered that fellow like, if the bomb is dropped here, I am making some sweet to offer it to the God. So I'm thinking of him. I'm singing some bhajans and frying the sweets. So while offering and while cooking, I am thinking of him. So Krishna mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, at the time of death, whatever you think, you will become. I am thinking of God, so I will go to him. If they are not dropping the, what is that, bomb here, so I'm making so much nice sweet, I will offer and I will honor them. Why I should fear when God is with me? I don't want to fear. So that was the answer given by Srila Prabhupada. So again, whatever happened to us, if we think from that perspective, God is with me, I have the belief, I'm praying, I'm remembering him, then I don't want to fear of anything happening to me. Again, that won't come overnight. If I just think, okay, I started praying, I listened to the class, Krishna, I'm surrendering to you. Next morning I woke up, I will be out of fear. No, we need to practice it for a while. It's like when we asked our parents for a bicycle, they got us. So we desired for it, bicycle is here. When we start riding it, it doesn't mean we won't fall down. We will fall down, but we will practice. Don't give up. Practice, practice, practice. And one day we will be coming out of fear. I hope that helps you, Priyanka. Okay. Any other question? As the question asked, like, how can we make our kids use the time? Teach your kids from the Vedas, not from the movies or TV shows. Make your own catalog. Catalog is already available. We just want to take some time to read through it. You don't have any question, we will end the session here.
Can I
Thank you
ask one
everyone
last
for
question?
joining. Sure, definitely.
Actually, like I heard all of your it was like great listening you. So actually, the question came in my mind as you like just now said like we should like spend some time like in spirituality, reading some reading some content and watching some videos. So suppose if I'm like thinking that I should like get a like whatever it is, be it materialistic or if anything like if I'm thinking I should get a good job or as just now you said like we are thinking to reach like make some comparison and we want to reach some level of that another person we want to reach. So like if so like as of now I'm thinking that like being I'm not using the word selfish here, like thinking good about ourselves is not a bad thing, right? If I suppose if I think like good about myself that like this like if this happened that this then definitely I'll be on a good path. So that is not a bad thing.
That is not a bad thing. I'm not saying, as I said, like, I'm not saying like, it's Pawan, right? Hey,
Yeah, yeah.
Pawan, stop working. Don't go to work. Leave your family as such.
Uh,
Go to Himalayas. Do meditation, read Bhagavad Gita. You will go back to Godhead. No, right? I'm not asking you to
no,
do
actually,
that.
no, actually, no,
You
actually,
are
I also
spending.
think that is
No,
I'm just 22, so actually, this thing came in my mind. I don't know, so that's why I asked.
no, I'm
No,
happy that at the
actually,
age of 22 you got exposure to think about God. You are. I'm not saying you are selfish, but the point we are saying is take some time, maybe daily half an hour or weekly an hour. Think about what is that I am doing for my soul. The thing you are earning, your family, your position you wanna build, everything is for your material life which lasts for 60, 70 years. When you leave this body, when you die, you can't able to take anything out of that. So the one thing which is with us forever, that is our soul. So we are spending as such, if I say you are working 40 hours a week for
Yes.
your livelihood, maybe spend 1 or 2 hours for yourself, your soul. That Shukruti or the pious deed, that will come with you. The devotional service is not ending at the 70 years. It is like a bank locker. So this material life, if you keep on depositing your money, whatever it is, if you die, the money or the shares, you can't take it with you, right? Maybe your kids
Yes.
will enjoy it, but you cannot take it. Your body, they won't even keep that 1 rupee in your head. They will just, I'm sorry, one rupee coin in your head, they will take that out also. But the one thing is with you, the soul. That soul, whatever devotional service you are doing, that will carry forward. That is, you are doing for the soul, that will come with you. Even if you take the next birth, your deposit will be there. If in this lifetime I have did 5% of devotional service, during my next birth, I will start with the 5% initial deposit. That is the assurance Krishna is giving in the 3rd chapter.
okay,
Totally, totally.
actually,
Very nice explained.
so to add to this point, right? So when we are like only, I mean, in this material life, actually, we will be more rajasic, which means like we earn something to, I mean, we need something, that's why we work hard. But if we do the devotional service, that for that, like we are not getting paid off. So that gets accumulated in our account, that uplifts our soul and then conscious level. So eventually we will actually 3 states, right? So when we are like thinking more tamasic, like we will take birth as the lower species. And when we are continuously focusing on being rajasic, making more money, making family happy, wife happy, son, children happy, so that makes us more rajasic, and we never like think about the spiritual things in life. So rajasic will still make us to take birth in the same earth level, which is like material level. we will not be uplifted to the spiritual level of that. There are more lokas upstairs. Like after this earth, there are more lokas where the top loka will be the highest spiritual loka. So once we start practicing the devotional service only, then we will be able to uplift ourselves. Then we should try to reach to the highest loka. So that is what like I read from few of the slokas that I read from the Bhagavad Gita. So we have to be like more sattvic. We have to, I mean, unless and until we become more sattvic, or like we practice more sattvic activities, we will not be able to reach Krishna. Instead, we will fall down in the rajasic state itself. Continuously taking birth in the rajasic states, like rajasic mode, right? We will not be, that will not pave us the way for liberation. So it's like continuous cycle of birth and death. So I do
just
this,
posted a YouTube link here in the chat. Just watch it as along with what Batma says of the mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. The mode of consciousness matters. There are 5 types of consciousness or 5 category of consciousness that is explained in this video. You can watch it for to get more understanding of this. And definitely, I appreciate
14th chapter slokas with me. If somebody is interested, like I can share it too. That explains the 3 states, each of the nature, like that. Those 3 gunas are associated with each soul, but the percentage might differ. Somebody can be more rajasic, somebody will be more tamasic, and somebody will be more sattvic. So the whole point of life that Krishna has given is like you have to be. How do you slow down in the rajasic and tamasic modes, and then how do you improve yourself in the sattvic? Once you become sattvic only, like all the illusions that whatever we think in this material, because like the 3 gunas are associated with the materialistic nature of the universe. So once you are able to elevate yourself from those things, and like when you completely surrender yourself to Lord, you will be able to understand that He is only giving us the way, and we are just the doer. Whatever He says, we are doing it in the universe. We are not we don't have any power or anything by ourselves. Each and every soul is part of Paramatma. Each and every Atma is part of Paramatma. He is the one who is making us to do so and so things. And that doings are like being splitted by 3 gunas. If we are more rajasic, like we think of making more money, more materialistic enjoyments, like we will want in life. And if we are tamasic, like we keep on cheating others, like all the lower level things we will be doing. And so that like when we are like doing more of lower level things, then there is a chance for us to get lower to the lower species level, to the level, below the earth. And when you are like more rajasic, and whatever we do in the universe is rajasic only. Now I am in this Janma, I am able to understand that I was like more rajasic last time. That's why I have taken birth now. Now, like if you think of liberation, you have to be more sattvic. In the rajasic life also, in the materialistic life also, we have to be more sattvic, and then we have to practice more devotional things in life so that we reach the highest loka. When we reach the highest loka, then the conscious itself is like completely different. Whatever we fight here, right? That is all like, if we keep thinking of it like it is all like very cheap. That doesn't cost us anything actually. So we really belong to a very highest soul, highest person. We all belong to a very highest soul. That is the universal soul. And like we like fight for small things in life. That is because of the materialistic nature of the 3 gunas that is associated with the universe. So now how we need to overcome the 2 lower level gunas, and then we have to be elevated to the higher level gunas. That will come only when we practice the devotional things in life, along with if we think of like fulfill your expectations to the family, and like whatever they need, we have to give. But to me, right, I don't want to construct 100 houses, 10 houses, not at all required. Just 1 house for living in the universe is more than enough for me. And then like concentrate more on the sattvic activities, do more devotional service, keep all our love towards Krishna. That will certainly uplift our conscious level. And at a certain point in life, right, we will not find we will think of that this life itself is of no usefulness, so that we will be liberated, and then we will live we reach the highest loka in the universe. So that is how the liberation comes. And each and every souls have to pass through these phases of life. Then only they will be able to attain the liberation. That is what Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita. In many of the chapters that I read, I used to read 2 or 3 slokas every day. And the 14th
Perfect.
chapter.
So
defines
maybe
the
Pawan, you can
complete-
take Batma's inspiration and start reading Bhagavad Gita. So you will realize yourself not to scare with all the details. Don't jump into the 14th chapter as such. Just start daily. Start from the introduction. I have posted the Veda base URL here. It is online. Just take daily maybe 10 minutes. It's not too much to ask, right? Just 10 minutes per day. Maybe you can keep an alarm, read 10 minutes and put a bookmark. Start your daily 10 minutes, and then if you are good, increase that more. So slowly you will understand why, what. So as if you heard everything, I don't expect, or even if I'm in your position, I can't do it from tomorrow onwards, I will totally change. Like a 180 or 360-degree change will come to me. No. As I said, it will come through practice. Maybe start spending 10 minutes, read from the first chapter, read from the introduction. You will know why, what it is, what are the 5 subject matter discussed in Gita. You can understand it slowly. Then when you read, come along, then you will start practicing it as your Shukruti will be with you, your pious activities. Then when you reach the 14th chapter, you will be in the mindset, okay, this is why I need to be in mode of goodness.
Totally got it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pawan. Thank you, Batma, for your
Yeah, thank you, Padma.
comments.
Definitely half of the things gone above my head, but thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you, Shama. Thank you for the
Yeah,
session.
thank
See
you.
you all
Sure.
next week. Thank you. Bye.
Sure. Talk to you then. I'll just post from introduction. Someone is asking, give me 1 minute. Okay. My net is slow. Give me a minute. Okay. Here it's everything. I'm sorry.
Shama, if you don't mind, if we close this session, actually this links will go. Would you mind sending us in the email or like in the WhatsApp
Sure.
group?
I will send it in the WhatsApp. Sure, definitely I will
Sure.
send it.
So that will stay for a long time, which will help us to grab it. Thank you.
Sure. I'll send
Thank
you
you.
there. Okay. Thank you. Haribol. Thank you. See you
Thank
next
you.
week. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pratap.